All right, welcome to Accountability Friday. We're starting out at Harrison, Mr. Zionium's place, but I think long term we'll probably be at my spot doing that. So I think the goal with this Friday accountability, whatever we call it long term, is just to create a chance for everyone to come together. I'm going to give a little bit of accountability on my side, talk a little bit about my training. Would love to share long term some of my clients' stories, some things they're doing, some wins they're having, and have them on. Definitely some of my clients I've had 3-4 years, because I think that'll show an interesting perspective of people that have been with the trainer long term, and definitely having some of my online clients on as well. Because here's the truth: what I'm doing with my one-on-one clients in person, and my online clients, is I'm checking in every day, right? I understand my place in a lot of people's lives, and that's an accountability partner. And I think the best thing I can do is uplifting, right, encouraging, and just really trying to create a sense of accountability long term. So if we can do that here on Fridays, whatever it be, I think that can be fun. So next Friday, when I'm in Florida with Audrey, I haven't even told her this, but I think we're gonna do a beach workout. So we'll go live at some point next Friday down in Jupiter, Florida. We're going to be hanging out. It's going to be an awesome time, and we're really excited. It looks like the weather's great. So we'll go live then. We'll talk, some type of probably body weight workout. I'll post more about it leading up to it. But maybe if you want to hop in, that should be fun. So I think what I wanted to do today was be a little selfish and show more accountability on my side and talk about the bicep tear and what that recovery was like, and take you through the day leading up and maybe the few days leading up, and maybe potentially some of the variables that went into it. And here's what I'll start with is that I've been a competitive powerlifter for almost 10 years. And, the truth of this sport is getting underweight, pulling weight, pushing weight, that scares you. And over this time, I've built a confidence system in my life through lifting that's been able to equate out to other things, building a business. I'm really lucky that my hobby and career blend together. And this is something that I learned through my injury, though, and something I'm working on, is finding roundness and being a well-rounded person. But the great thing about what I get to do is my hobby and career blends together. And being able to push these weights and be that confident has come from getting under these heavy weights all the time. So, what I'll say is that leading up to this, I am surprised that, maybe something didn't happen sooner. I'm big on recovery and trying to improve on that side always. But, truth is like, this is a dangerous sport, and, things blow off, things happen, especially when you're pushing that red line every single day. So, I'm fortunate that, in the grand scheme of things, this injury was very minimal. Something my PT told me, Corey, shout out Corey and Alyssa. They were a great help building me back up through this process, and I'm very thankful for them at Grandview Pro Fitness, great gym. So I think the thing that, basically, put this all in perspective that Corey said was that, Zach, you've been lifting. I've been lifting and powerlifting since I was 19. I'm 27 now. First bodybuilding show at 18. Like, I think the thing that kept me, stable was that I've been lifting for, pretty consistently for almost 10 years. I was out realistically for, lifting lower body for 6 weeks, right? Upper body for 3 months, right? That's, in the grand scheme of things, nothing, right? And that perspective is very healthy, and it helped me push forward, because I'm at a point now where I'm starting to build back. A big win this week for me was actually this morning, Friday, benching 205 pounds for 5 reps. Okay, I feel excited that I'm going to build off of that. Earlier in the week, Monday, I did a 185-pound deadlift, and the plan is each week just go up, next week 225, 275, 315, 365, right? Working back up, because here's the truth. I'm working on this double overhand now. I'm not committing to the supinated grip. That's how the bicep tore. It's a very common way, the orthopedic surgeon said. He said, listen, most guys that come in here with the, blown bicep are probably doing it in the supinated grip, okay, the underhand. So I think, let me backtrack here. Where was I going with this? Oh, so yeah, deadlift for building up. Back to my best pull overhand was around the mid fours. I think 465 is the best I ever did overhand. And Trey, my man's going to help teach me this hook grip. I don't feel super confident. I have smaller hands. So I think, long term, though, this will be good, right? I'm going to be symmetrical. My shoulder blades will be pinned back instead of one being supinated up, kind of lock forward. I think, honestly, long term, that's what led to it blowing off. I was doing too much of the mixed grip. I should have been training overhand more. So I'm confident that long term, the goal has always been, if you've followed me long enough, is to pull 700 pounds under 200-pound body weight, Okay, I really believe that's still possible. Overhand grip's going to be the way to get there. Hook grip. Okay. So let's backtrack a little bit. I'm going to take you back to kind of how the bicep tore and basically things leading up to that. You know, kind of how I got to this point. I'm almost, I think today is like 115 days since the surgery. So, you know, pretty close to 4 months here and, you know, feeling confident with how things are going. So backtrack, the bicep blew off on Halloween. Pretty spooky stuff, I know. So I actually met another guy online. He, you know, tore his bicep and happened on Halloween too. Pretty crazy. But so weekend before that, I was out. You know, definitely was enjoying some drinks with friends, Audrey, and you know, definitely was not recovered for Sunday. I was dehydrated, right? Leading into Monday, we lift early. I was probably started deadlifting by 4:30 a.m. We were going through red bands that day. I decided to do a conventional deadlift. It was also a deficit, so we were farther away from the bar. So objectively, more range of motion and a lot more tension at the top, right? Definitely sounds like a lot of tension. Maybe basically what happened was on that bicep just from these positions. But here's the truth, guys. Like, I was not prepared for that day. A million things led up to it. Like, we had some bands snap before, right? A million things could happen. If it wasn't that day, it was going to be another day eventually. So, you know, all these things come together. The bicep blows off. I remember going up to lockout. It was around 300, maybe 365 pounds. And at some point, we're going to do a video, I think, of me having a live reaction to this this video, because I haven't watched it yet. I'm not confident if I can get there yet. But eventually, we'll watch that and have my reaction. But it was, I think, around 315 pounds or 365 pounds. Okay, conventional is starting to pull up. Okay, close to locking out, I think, almost there, and I hear pop, pop. I think, oh, I just ripped my shirt, and then I remember I had a cutoff on. So, pretty much instantly dropped that bar. I think I screamed some bloody murder, but you know, it started going pretty white pretty quickly on the ground. Treadway had my back pretty quickly, and you know, here's the great thing, guys. Corey ran and grabbed me some frozen peas. We wrapped my arm up in a knee sleeve within a minute. Okay, I had no bruising throughout this process ever, right? And talking to some other guys that had this injury, right? It's common to have bruising, and I think because of, you know, my guys in the 4 a.m. crew, they were able to react so quickly and help get some ice on there. You know, I think it really saved me long term, and you know, probably helped save the bicep a little bit. So from that process, I was on the ground probably for another 30, 45 minutes. I remember my blood sugar dropped like crazy. You know, I looked pretty white. They got some sugar in me. Had some Gatorade. I think Preston, my man, went and grabbed some Gatorade for me. So pretty in shock. I remember texting clients from there like, hey, I'm pretty sure something not good just happened. I'm not going to be able to come in today. And from there, Audrey was able to get me into her clinic and see a physician. I was able to get referred out to Orthopedic 1 that day, which I think is critical. I ended up having surgery basically within 72 hours, that next Thursday of the injury. So I think that was critical to having it, you know, come basically get back to full strength and hopefully size too, because I was able to get into the surgery so fast. So I'm very thankful for Audrey and everyone over at Grandview Pro Fitness for helping me get in so fast. It was really great. So Dr. Sakauchi, I always pronounce his name wrong, at Orthopedic 1, great guy. We ended up doing the button hook surgery. So basically drill a hole in you, pull the tendon through, button it off, okay, stretch that tendon back out. You know, the surgeon, you know, basically, you know, go and get the MRI confirmed the tear, and you know, I pretty much knew because there was some obvious space between the insertion point and the bicep. So basically from there, you know, had surgery a few days later, and you know, the surgeon, the only thing he said that was off in the surgery was that he said he didn't see the tendon snap up that high before. Basically meaning he had to dig up there a little bit. That's why my incision's a little bigger than some of the guys I've seen. But it's crazy how like small these incisions really. It's really not that big at the end of the day. But he said it was pretty far up there, and you know, I like to tell, you know, basically at the top, around 300 and some reds on there. You know, close to 500-600 pounds, right? Pretty cool. Maybe it just recoiled that much. But so he pulled it back down, tied it off, you know, and then from there I was in a sling, you know, the orthopedic sling and a wrap for 2 weeks, just locked, right? Basically slept like that. You know, I did use painkillers throughout that process the first week, and I remember, by day 9 was my last day taking them, and I think, I like to be transparent here, but I remember coming down from that. I was at dinner with Audrey, her friend Colleen, and her boyfriend Jimmy, and I remember sitting there. We were at one of these taverns, City Tavern or Arch City Tavern, downtown or in the short north, and I remember sitting there and looking at him. The guy's like, I think I'm like coming off these bills a little hard. I was sweating. It was just, I was really relying on him, which is fine, right? This is a part of the healing process, and I like to tell people that I did take them. I know a lot of people in this sport who don't take them, right? And that's your choice, and this was my choice. But it was definitely a hard process getting off that because the pain really set in. Those first 8 days wasn't that bad. The pain was very tight. I felt tightness in my arm all day long. I was still training clients. I was training at least 4 or 5 hours still every day, at least weekdays, Monday through Friday. After the process, I trained 3 clients still on surgery day. I'm proud to say that. I definitely hold that as a badge of honor. Maybe it's a little stupidity in how I got here, but that's who I am. So locked for 2 weeks in the sling. I remember going into the orthopedic surgeon. I like telling this story. If you know me, I'm a little phobic, I guess, with some of the things I go in, like doctor's office, right? Like I pass out pretty much every time I get blood drawn, shots, vaccines, right? I'm pretty much on the floor. So I go into the orthopedic surgeon. I go into Ortho 1. They take the sling off. They're getting ready to put me in the locked brace. They're cutting the arm sling off, opens up. I'm basically seeing my arm for the first time in like 3 weeks, especially with this new incision and some stitches. He's like, all right, Zach, nurse will be in here, help you out, get you put in the brace. See you later. See you in a few weeks. I start to go. I'm getting pale again. I'm going back to when it happened. I'm like, oh my God. I'm going through the deadlift in my head. And I'm starting to pass out. I'm fighting for my life on this table in this orthopedic surgeon's office. Finally, a nurse comes in. I get some sugar, but it's okay. So they put me in the brace, locked at 90 for a couple weeks, and basically over the next 9 weeks, they opened me up about 10 to 20 degrees. Okay, if you follow my Instagram, right, it started up here, right, and we opened up every so often. And around the first of the year, started taking it off, and basically since that second week of January, have been progressing. Okay, and by this 3-month mark, I'm close to 4 now. They say it's fully healed. So now the process is strengthening it, right? Working through a lot of that scar tissue, which I'm still doing. I'm able to do curls now, but a lot of that still is just working through that range of motion. I think the craziest thing I try to explain to people is, during bodybuilding, they always talk about that mind-muscle connection, right? Squeezing the muscle, feeling it engage, feeling it work. I can do that on my right side, my right bicep, but my left arm, I still can't make that neurological connection like, hey, squeeze the bicep. I can feel it, and it's getting better each week, and each time I add maybe a little more weight or a couple more reps, right, it progresses. I feel maybe a little more, but that's the wildest thing, is that neurological connection. Being able to fire it and squeeze it is definitely disconnected. So, but happy to see improvement on that. And then, basically, guys, I've worked into benching now, as mentioned before, deadlifting, and kept my squats up. My squats never felt better. I'm hitting weights faster and more efficient than I was leading up to when I hit my 600 back in the fall. So I'm excited about all the progress moving forward. I think once again, this Accountability Friday is going to be a great way for me to share some of my progress, bring on some people to show their progress, and maybe people you normally wouldn't hear in the fitness industry. That's the light I want to shed on, is someone maybe you can connect with, and then cultivate this community that every Friday, hey, we're checking in. I'm hearing what Zach's struggling with, maybe some of his wins. Would love to hear some of your wins and losses and how we can all improve together. So I appreciate you checking in. This is going up on YouTube. I'm going to try to upload these every week onto YouTube. Next Friday, once again, probably won't be a YouTube, but we will go live somewhere at the beach, bodyweight workout down in Florida. So very thankful for you guys for checking in. Hopefully YouTube growing.